Ever feel like that money you've got is just kind of sitting there, not really doing much for you?
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Well, you're not alone. And if you're interested in real estate, you're in the right place. We're diving deep today into why real estate might just be that answer you've been looking for.
That's right.
We're taking excerpts from this presentation I found, and it lays out a really strong case for real estate as a powerful wealth-building tool. It
Yeah.
really got me thinking.
Yeah, you know what I found really interesting about it?
What's that?
It does a great job of breaking down like these complicated ideas, making them into practical steps anyone can take.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just theory, it's about giving you the tools you need to actually, take charge of your money.
Okay, so let's break this down. Right off the bat, the presentation jumps into passive income. And honestly, I gotta say, that idea of money working for you even while you're sleeping sounds pretty good to me.
Oh, it's incredibly appealing, and real estate has some serious advantages when it comes to passive income. Have you ever heard of turnkey properties?
Oh yeah, I've heard the term.
So you buy a place, it's already fixed up, has a tenant, and boom, you're collecting rent from day one.
No kidding.
Or even think about short-term rentals, like through Airbnb.
Right.
Huge opportunity for passive income there, especially if you're in a spot that gets a lot of tourists.
Makes total sense. And actually, the presentation mentions how the speaker's first rental property brought in like $600 a month
Wow.
after all the expenses. I'm curious, when you were starting out, did you have any similar wins like that?
Well, my first rental, it wasn't quite that smooth, to be honest. I learned about tenant screening the hard way, I'll tell you that. But it's funny, it's like, when we talk about passive income, there's always that somewhat in there.
That's true.
It's not totally hands-off, but compared to working a 9 to 5, it gives you a freedom that's, well, hard to find anywhere else.
Absolutely. And then the presentation moves on to appreciation.
Right.
The idea that real estate generally tends to go up in value over time, and it often beats inflation too. So your investment's working double time, basically.
Exactly. Think about it this way. Inflation, it kind of eats away at the value of the cash you have, right? But real estate, it tends to rise right alongside it, sometimes even faster. So while other investments might be losing ground, your real estate's potentially just growing and growing.
So it's not just about keeping up with inflation, it's about using it to your advantage.
Exactly. And then on top of that, you've got the tax advantages,
Right.
which are a whole other level of wealth building potential.
Oh yeah, the tax benefits, the presentation,
Yeah.
it emphasizes those deductions you can get, like for depreciation and mortgage interest.
Yeah,
Can really lower your taxable income.
absolutely.
It's almost like the government's giving you a little bonus for invested in real estate.
That's one way to look at it. So depreciation, right, it lets you deduct a chunk of the property's value every year. It's supposed to reflect wear and tear, even though the market value might actually be going up. And then the mortgage interest you're paying, that's deductible too.
Yeah,
All of this can add up to some serious savings.
I bet. And then there's this thing called a 1031 exchange, which the presentation touches on briefly. It sounds like some kind of real estate magic trick, honestly.
It is pretty powerful. It essentially lets you avoid paying capital gains taxes when you sell a property as long as you reinvest the money you made into a new one.
Wow.
So it's a fantastic strategy to grow your real estate holdings without taking a massive tax hit along the way.
Sounds like a great way to level up in the real estate game. And, unlike stocks, where you're kind of just along for the ride, real estate gives you a lot more control, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. With real estate, you're not buying a piece of paper that represents a company, You're investing in something real, something tangible.
Yeah.
You can improve it, fix it up, choose the right tenants, and adapt to whatever is happening in the market. It's much more hands-on.
You're like the architect of your own financial future, brick by brick.
I like that. And speaking of building, the presentation wraps up with this really interesting point about using real estate to build a legacy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people want to leave a legacy behind, but they don't always know where to start.
Right. And real estate can be a powerful way to do just that. You're not just building wealth for yourself. You're creating something that can be passed down for generations. It's about financial security for your family, even maybe a source of income for your kids or grandkids down the line.
We've covered so much ground today. Passive income, appreciation, tax advantages, control, inflation, and even building a legacy. Seems like real estate gives you a ton of different ways to build wealth.
It really does.
What stands out to you the most from all this?
Yeah.
And what are some steps people can take to learn more?
There's so much to consider, and honestly, we've only just scratched the surface of the real estate world. But even this little glimpse, it's a starting point, right?
Yeah.
Think about which parts of real estate investing really click with your own goals, your own comfort level with risk. And from there, dive deeper. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint.
That's a great point to end on. We just dipped our toes in today, but hopefully this sparked your curiosity and gave you some things to think about.
Yeah.
Happy investing.